What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. I know my day is gonna get better, okay? Significantly better. I'm so excited for this video. If you follow my Q&As on Instagram, you know I'm a girly with opinions, okay? I've got some hot takes. I've been opinionated since birth. It is a badge of honor that I wear proudly, okay? And I've been asked to share this gift with you all on YouTube as well. So here we are. I watched hours of dating advice on TikTok yesterday. I got a headache from it. It's not even me being sarcastic. I genuinely had a headache. I feel like I've lost about half of my brain cells. I do not like to suffer by myself, okay? So I'm dragging you all down with me and we're gonna be reacting to today's dating culture and a lot of questionable dating advice. And because we're all about equality, I'm including men and women. We don't discriminate. We're gonna judge them all equally. Let's get started. I'm so excited. Okay.
I expect a man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. If you are a man that I'm interested in, I want to see that you can provide for me. I want to see that you can afford an Uber ride. I want to see that you can afford a nice dinner date. Like, can you afford basic things? Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids. You certainly can't afford a house. You certainly can't afford my bills. And I got bills to pay. Okay?
I mean, the attitude is honestly repelling, but let's watch one more from her so we can get a full view of her, convictions and advice.
Here are some things I expect a man to pay for while I'm dating him or we're in a relationship. All dates. Like, sir, you're courting me, you're dating me, like, you should be paying for the date. I don't pay for dates, so what are we doing here? Why would you ask me on a date if you're not gonna pay for it? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I know you don't want to look at my crusty nails, and my nails are never crusty because I'm a model, so I have to get my nails done for shoots, and I usually...
You get the vibe, okay? The list says this is what she's expecting men to pay while dating, not just in a relationship, but also in a relationship. All dates, nails, hair, Uber, wax, and her rent. This vibe and attitude is ugly to me. And the reason why this comes across very unattractive to me, and this is just my first impression off of what we've watched, I do not know her, but she seems like a person of low character because she seems like this is the main thing she cares about when it comes to getting a partner and being in a relationship. I think one thing that is very, very attractive is having a character. And what I mean by that is working on yourself, learning new things, having hobbies and interests. And I feel like an amazing way to discover more things that you're interested in or work on the hobbies and interests you already have is with Skillshare, and they're actually sponsoring this video. I mentioned in one of my recent videos that I really want to start meditating, just simple 5 to 10 minutes. I feel like it's something that's really going to help me and make me a more enjoyable person to be and to be around. So the class that I started watching is Modern Meditation, Discover Your Potential, Power, and Purpose. And I feel like it's such a good introduction to meditation, and it's going to give you all the information you need to get started if that is something you want to work on. If you don't know, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. They have thousands of classes across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. Skillshare can help you take your career, your skills, hobbies, interests, or even side hustles and passions to the next level. There are so many classes on Skillshare that can help you rediscover your creativity or lean more into it. I've watched so many different classes from sketching, writing, photography, even building Notion boards. There's so many things that I've learned through Skillshare, so I highly, highly recommend checking it out. And the first 500 people to click on my link down below will actually get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so you can get started today. I feel like the problem really becomes when girls and impressionable women watch these TikToks, and again, there's so many of them, and get the assumption that if you are a woman that values herself, that has healthy self-esteem and standards, then you must demand these things. This must be the standard for you as well, because that's what they're communicating. And the problem with that is that you don't think about what you're actually signing up for. You do not actually think about the reality of being with a man like this. Think about the man that can actually afford all of these things that this girly is asking for. You would assume that a guy who can freely spend so much money on a girl's rent, all of her bills, etc., he would be very successful, which means that he spends a lot of time working on his business, that most of his time and energy goes towards that, because that's what it takes if you want to be that successful. You have to be a very specific type of woman to be happy in a relationship with someone that is so busy and preoccupied. It's really, really not for everyone. And I can say this because I grew up in a household with my stepdad, who is a very successful guy, and I saw how many sacrifices he made to get to this point. And I could see very clearly that he wouldn't be able to have, a healthy, decent family if it wasn't for my mom putting in all of that work. The amount of sacrifices my mom made and the amount of things she put into that relationship and into our family is astronomical, okay? And I don't want you to think that she's one of these women, okay? She's not. She would be so embarrassed if any of you thought that. But my point is that a lot of these women don't think that far ahead. They don't think about 2 years down the line what your day-to-day life is going to look like with someone that is that successful and can afford all of your bills. It might be worth it for some women that would appreciate a relationship like that, but again, it's really not for everyone. And from just watching a few of her TikToks, she seems to be pretty delusional and not fully realistic about what this life entails from a woman as well.
Girls want to date an entrepreneur until they see what comes with being with an entrepreneur. You think for 1 second that dating an entrepreneur, especially one that is successful, means you get freedom? Take it from me. I'm sitting at the office of the entrepreneur right now, where he's getting 2 jobs for the price of 1. He's 24/7, and I'm out here being 24/7 with him. When I started dating my fiance, he basically told me from the get-go, I want to end up with someone that supports me and my goals and my dreams. That's the one thing I'll never give up. I was like, oh, that sounds easy enough. No, I'm out here in the trenches. If you want to be with someone that's uber successful, you need to know that you will most likely come in a lot of seasons second to the business. And you need to be so okay with that. Like so for real okay with that.
Okay, it goes on for a while, but you get the point. This is exactly my point. And this girly is in the trenches, as she says, of reality. She seems pretty like she has a decent head on her shoulders, but a lot of these women see the shiny exterior and I'm gonna get all these lavish gifts and they're gonna pay for everything and yada, yada, yada. And it seems like her partner was like, this is what I'm after. And if you enter my life, this is actually what the reality of it looks like. And the type of girlies that we just watched before would be the type that would hear this and be like, that is not a high value man, because a high value man would not ask anything of me. And good luck to you, girly.
How do you get men to be obsessed with you? And I'm going to tell you. You have to understand how obsession works. You have to understand the art of obsession, where it comes from, and how people get to that sort of emotion. Obsession is created when something becomes somewhat confusing to you, okay? You can't quite understand it, you can't work it out, you're not sure how to hold on to it, how to get it, how to attain it, right? It's confusing. It's like when you were little, you used to play like a game, a board game, or you had to work out a puzzle, right? You had to finish a puzzle. You would obsess over that little game, right? You're this little kid and you obsess over it and you're like, how do I work this out? How do I do this, right? You enter this state of obsession because now you're just fixated on this thing. So you need to apply the exact same concept and mindset to dating. The more confusing you are to a man, ladies, the more he's going to be obsessed with you. Because what you're doing is you're creating cognitive dissonance in a man without even realizing you're doing it. It's confusing.
Here's another one of her videos, again, just to get a full view, just so we're not commentating prematurely.
Men don't care about your personality. They don't care about your dreams, your goals, what you want to achieve in life, your likes, your dislikes. They don't care about these things. Men do not care about you as a person. They care about what you can offer them. They care about if there's something in it for them. That's why men usually don't do things unless they're going to get something out of it. So if a man is going out of his way, doing a lot of things, and you're like, oh my God, he's doing all these grand gestures. He wants something. He's doing it to get something out of you.
Maybe, I don't know if this has been considered, but maybe what he actually wants by putting in the effort is a real partnership and a relationship and a future with someone, maybe even a family. But apparently men don't want that at all. This is honestly pretty sad. Like, I know I'm kind of laughing and being funny about it. But this is really, really sad to think that all men are like this. And that's why I thought it was so ironic when she said cognitive dissonance, because this seems like exactly the result of cognitive dissonance, okay? Because she seems to be operating from a place of, I've been deeply hurt and disappointed by men over and over and over again, presumably my whole life. And now I believe that every single man is like this. And that is way more comfortable for my brain to believe than for me to take a hard stop and look at myself and look at my life and be like, I have some hurt and pain to work through. I've got some toxic patterns that I'm operating from. And I'm also the common denominator. Like, I'm the one choosing these men. And that's why I'm only seeing them. That's why in my world, these are the only kind of men that exist. Even though that is not the actual reality and the actual objective truth. No matter what these TikTok girlies try to tell you, because they're operating from their own place of delusion and pain, is that all men are terrible. And that is not the case at all. Like, there are so many decent, good men out there. And it's scary that these are the type of people that give advice and that other people listen to. Do not take advice from people who are not where you want to be. But to give her credit, she is right about the tactic to get someone obsessed with you. It is true that if you are very unpredictable, and especially if you give attention and love in a very unpredictable way, that is proven to get people addicted and obsessive. And there is actually a study, I read it years ago, so I'm probably gonna butcher it a little bit, but the gist was that they were doing a study on rats. There was a lever, whenever they would pull it or touch it, I'm not sure, they would get food. A snack, if you will. So when rats would push on this lever and food would come every single time consistently, they would not get obsessive, okay? Then when they would take it away, so all of a sudden, whenever they would push, they wouldn't get anything. They, tried a few more times and then they forgot about it. They moved on with their lives. And then they tried to give them food inconsistently. So they would push on the lever and sometimes food would come, sometimes it wouldn't. And that is what got them completely addictive and obsessed, where their whole world was about pushing this lever to the point where they neglected everything else. And judging from what she's saying and the advice she's giving, it seems that she believes that you need to keep doing this to keep a man interested and to keep a man around and to get him to commit. And that seems like such a miserable, anxious, unappealing relationship. One of the most beautiful things to me about being in a relationship as a woman, born and raised woman, I value having a man in my life in the form of a romantic relationship so much, because it's that feeling of coming home after a long, stressful day and just like this is a safe space for me. Like, this person deeply knows me and loves me, and I can be myself. You get to just lean back into who you are. Like, the best way I can explain it is like being in a safe little cocoon. I'm cozy and I feel safe and secure. And in my mind, the flip side of that is what she's describing, this relationship of uncertainty, of constant push and pull, anxiety, and that to me seems like hell, to be completely honest. It seems so miserable. And it's really good to know about this dynamic and how it works, so you can recognize it when you date someone and this comes up. Most of the time, people are not doing this intentionally. I mean, there are people like her who seem to be doing that, but a lot of the time, honestly, I feel like guys don't have the energy to do all that. They usually do it because they're not that interested in you, and you might be convenient for them to keep around until they meet someone else, or you're good at stroking their ego. You're exciting, you're fun, whatever. They're usually not genuinely interested in a real partnership and future with you. And it's good to recognize that so you can walk away if you actually want a genuine, healthy, happy relationship. Because I've never seen a relationship with this dynamic work?
You met her at the bar. You know, she gave you her number. She seemed somewhat interested. You started texting her. For 2 weeks, you're putting in work. She's not the best texter. You're carrying the conversation, but you asked her out and she agreed to a date. You're hype. You tell your boys. You ask them where you should take her. They recommend a spot that's cool but not too pricey. Boom. Date night comes around. You pick her up. She looks good. You take her to the spot. She's never been there before. She doesn't know what to order. Doesn't matter. When she gets her food, she doesn't eat much. She claims she's not really hungry. She probably just doesn't want to eat in front of you. The date's going well though. She's laughing at your jokes. The conversation isn't boring. She seems like she's having a good time. The dinner's coming to an end. You're getting nervous. You don't know if you should invite her over, if she's gonna invite you over. What's the next move? You ask her what she's doing after this. She says she's tired. She's got work in the morning, but she'd love to hang another time. You're cool with that answer. She gets a to-go box. You pay for her meal. You take her home. You pull up to her crib. You get out the car, run around and open her door. She thanks you for the date, gives you a hug, and says, text me when you get home safe. You think that's the end of the night. You're going home with a smile on your face. Little do you know, she just texted me, what you doing, with the eye emoji. I told her I was chilling. She said, you should come over. I said, bet, give me 30. I pull up to her crib, knock on her door. She lets me in. She's trying to take me straight to the bedroom. I tell her I'm low-key kind of hungry. You got any snacks? She offers me her leftovers from the dinner you paid for. I like that place. You picked a good spot. I put the food in the microwave, warm it up. I'm devouring that shit while asking her how the date went. She said you were cool, but not her normal type. I asked her what's her normal type. She said me. I laugh. I'm done eating. It's time to do what I came here for. And I do exactly that. 1, 2, maybe 3 times. It's getting late though. She asked me if I wanted to stay tonight. I'm good. I get up, get dressed. She walks me out. Boom, I'm headed home. She goes back to her room, checks her phone. She sees a text from you. Hey, got home safe. She likes the message. She texts you back. Had a really good time tonight. Can't wait to do it again. Winky emoji. You go to sleep with a smile on your face. I go to sleep with a smile on my face. She goes to sleep with a smile on her face. That's what I call a team win.
That's what I call misery, actually. Okay, I actually cannot tell if this guy's playing a part because it does say the other guy. If he's not, imagine being that insufferable. Like, wow. If this is not a part, because I assume there's genuinely guys like this out there, what it's giving to me is like, I have no healthy self-esteem and I get all of my validation from sleeping with women and women supposedly wanting me, even though it's just for sex, but I guess that's enough, and getting validation from, strangers on the internet. So that seems like a really healthy thing to do. Like there's, guys commenting in his comment section like, oh my God, this happened to me, or I was just on a date. I hope that's not what happened. And I just want to say there are genuinely good women out there still. And all of us, no matter your gender, need to put in the effort to discern from, who's genuine and who is actually, a person of character that has some decent values that you would want to, spend your time with, and who isn't. And that is why you go on dates and you see if that's the case. And, a lot of men from experiences like this and stories like this or content like this are then the type of guys who are like, I'm not paying for a first date. I'm not putting in all of this effort because why would I if this is the result that I'm getting? And I fully understand that. And a lot of this dating advice from women is like, there's absolutely no time to put yourself in the man's shoes and actually try to see it from their point of view. And I'm not trying to like be an apologist of men. I know there's a lot of questionable men out there. I fully understand. And there's a lot of toxic men out there, but there's also a lot of toxic women, as we've been seeing. Okay, it's glaringly obvious. And I understand, especially with online dating, where you can't really fully see what the person is like, but you're interested, you want to take them out. If you date like that a lot, then I understand why you wouldn't want to put so much effort in out of the get-go and like pay for everything and do all of that, because I know that's like a big conversation about who should be paying straight away. And I do understand the man's point of view. If I was a man and this was the women that I was, around, I first of all would question why I'm attracting these types of women, but I would also be pretty fed up, to be completely honest, and might get to a point where I'm like, I'm just not putting in the effort until, I meet someone who I genuinely feel like is worthy of that amount of effort or money or whatever it is. And there's a lot of women out there who do not see that point of view and who are very entitled and bratty.
Here's why the guy should always pay for the first date. Okay, so it's pre-date and post-date expenses. I'm gonna start with pre-date. Guys, post-date, a lot more taxing. But the pre-date are pretty self-explanatory and they're probably unique to each person. These are the things a woman goes through to feel the most confident on a date. I don't want to hear in the comments like if this hits the wrong algorithm. We don't ask you to do those things. I don't give a fuck. We've been conditioned, and to feel most comfortable, we're gonna do these things. It's making sure your nails are done. You like the way your hair looks. Taking the time to shave. It's the cost of an Uber. Last time I did something like this, somebody was like, no, the guy's coming to pick me up. I don't know how safe that is. I'd prefer to take the Uber and I'd prefer to have it on my account. It's the lack of feeling of safety when you're meeting a guy for the first time. Teeth whitening. It's the time, resources, energy. I love getting ready, but like girls know, getting ready for a first date, having the outfit, feeling confident, there's steps involved.
I feel like this is so dependent on your culture as well. Like I grew up in Slovenia, which is very westernized, but we still have a lot of those like Slavic traditional views. And I definitely saw that I hold a lot of those when I lived in Denmark, which is the opposite. Like Denmark is very concerned with, you know, gender roles. Everything needs to be very equal. We split the bill no matter what. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't realize I felt a type of way about this until I experienced the opposite. Obviously, there is the school of thought of like whoever invites should pay. But I do personally offer just because I feel like it's the polite thing to do. The guy might not like me. I might not like him. Like if we're going on a date and we met on a dating app or somewhere, you don't know. So I do personally offer, but I do find it very, very attractive and like manly, masculine when a guy is like, I got this. I really, really like that. And it does make me feel like the guy actually likes me and, you know, is interested in me and wants to pursue this and put in the effort, which is very, very attractive. But I feel like with things like this, again, it's cultural. It is a personal preference. So the ideal thing would be that you find someone who values the same thing. But having this like bratty attitude about it and this entitlement is, in my opinion, icky. Like women talk about so many icks that they have. This is an ick. It would be to me if I was a man and I saw that the girl that I went on a date with would post stuff like this. I would instantly disappear.
This is the best response to write when they ghosted and try to come back. Say this to your notes app and leave them on red. You ghosted me unexpectedly. You're not here, but you're still alive. You decided your life would be happier by revoking my invite, bitch.
I mean, if you want to seem insane, you can go for it. I guess I would hope that if someone ghosts you, especially if you've been like actually seeing each other, you would not want to continue that relationship. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what you say, but I feel like my ego would not allow this. If someone ghosts you, I genuinely think you should just leave it. And if they come back, I prefer not to give a reply. Honestly, it is a waste of time. Like you clearly don't respect me or at the very least you just don't like me that much, which is fine. But in that case, I'm not going to give you the energy or the effort to explain why this hurt me or why what you did was wrong or why I will not take this because I respect myself and I've got self-esteem. Like that should be pretty obvious. The fact that you need to explain this, your worth to someone already tells me that you probably don't actually even believe yourself. Alrighty guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, any kind of reactions, commentary, which topics you want me to cover. If you've got some good TikToks or Reels or whatever, send them my way and we can include them in the next video. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know, but I'm wishing you the best day and I will see you very, very soon.